When growing asparagus at home is so much different than when you bought the asparagus from the store. It's so much juicier, delicious, and it tastes very sweet. Hello everyone, thank you for watching my video and welcome to GreenMangoes. I'm Long, and if you're new to the channel, please help me subscribe and get new videos of me upload, sharing my knowledge about gardening here in Las Vegas. For today, I'd like to dive into this asparagus that I've grown in the last 2 years from a very small plant that I bought locally here in Las Vegas. And when growing asparagus, there's two ways to do it. One is you can germinate from seed and start from there. The other way is the easier way is around this time in March, beginning of the spring, you can go to local nursery. And usually local nursery will carry baby asparagus already started for you to try out at home. And for the first part of growing asparagus, the most important thing is the soil. So if you click on the link below on the description where I linked to the video in 2019 where I show my raised bed gardens in 2019. You can see how small the asparagus is, and now it got to this size. But in that raised bed garden, for the soil that I use, it's mixtures of 4 different things, right? One is garden soils, and you can go to local nursery and buy your favorite type of garden soils that you use that is other successful in your garden. And in addition to that, I add coconut coir to my garden soil. And the reason why I add coconut coir, because coconut coir retain moisture, so that way when it's very dry and very hot in the summer, my soil don't get dry out, and it retain enough moisture for my asparagus to thrive in. And in addition to coconut coir, I also add compost. I didn't add many compost because it can be very hot and burn the baby asparagus root at the beginning stage of its life. So just a little bit of compost in the mixture would be fine, enough to fertilize your plant. And the last part and the fourth part that I add to my asparagus soil is sand. The reason why I add sand because sand give more drainage and soften up the soil a little bit, so that way the asparagus have an opportunity to grow its root system and penetrate deeper and deeper. Without sand, the soil can be compact over time and get hard, and it's harder for the asparagus to have a bigger root system and deeper root system. So keep in mind when you use your soil, moisture, drainage, and soften up using sand. And that's how I used it, and I got quite a bit of success before. And the next things I like to discuss when growing asparagus is sunlight. When I had this asparagus, I had in the south east facing side, so it gets about 8 to 10 hours of sunlight every day, and it gets pretty hot. So by evidence, the more sunlight the better, because asparagus needs sunlight to photosynthesis, and when it photosynthesis, it help build the better root system, and your crown get bigger and bigger over time. And so make sure if you can get, make sure you plant in a location that get at least 4 to 6 hours sunlight. At least the more the better. And after sunlight is watering asparagus. When watering asparagus, it's very important to know that is very simple. It's like many other plants that when you adjust the watering schedule based on the temperature and the season of the year. So during the winter months when it's dormant, I only water once every 2 or 3 weeks or so, because it's dying back. It doesn't need any water. It doesn't have any foliage to consume those water. So make sure you don't water too much and rot away your roots. So when spring comes along, the beginning of the spring, I start watering again once every 3 days. That's when it starts to develop the greens again. Asparagus shoot is coming up, so that's when I water every 3 days or so. When the summer hit, when it's getting really hot, I water every single day. And then during the fall, I cut it back to every 2 to 3 days. And repeat that cycle again year after year, and your asparagus will grow for you to consume for years, many years to come. And many experts have said that asparagus can grow if you have a healthy crown. It can provide asparagus for you for at least 40 years. So I'm excited for you to give this a try. I'm very happy with my asparagus. And next to watering is I like to talk about fertilizing this asparagus. I consider this is very easy to grow, very simple, low maintenance to grow. And the only thing I use for fertilizing this is the beginning of spring, before the new shoot come out. I add compost, a layer of compost on the top, and sometime when I have a chance, I add warm casting as well. Just a layer of compost and warm casting on the top, and some mulch, and that will break down and feed this asparagus for 1 whole year. So you don't have to do much. You don't have to fertilize like many other different trees. Asparagus are very easy to grow. They don't demand that much. Just give compost once a year on the top layer also, and then keep providing water to the asparagus, and it will be continue to grow and grow for you. The next topic I want to talk about when it comes to asparagus is this plant is perennial, so it grows years after years. So what does that mean in terms of maintenance and pruning this asparagus? For me, the first 2 years or so, you should never harvest your asparagus, because when you do, new shoot will come out, and the trees will focus its energy to provide new foliage and new asparagus shoot for you, and the crown doesn't get big. So one thing you have to understand is you have to be patient. The first 2 years or so, do not harvest your asparagus. Wait until the 3rd year to harvest. And when you let the shoot grow and turn into a fern like this, and it helps photosynthesis, in turn it creates a bigger crown. And the bigger crown, the wider it grows and the deeper it penetrates, the more asparagus shoot you can harvest on the 3rd and the 4th years. So during the year or so, when this grows very tall, I let it grow like this, and I don't even cut back at all, because the moment I cut back, it will grow new shoots, and then you continue that cycle, and your root system doesn't get strong, right? So after the winter or so, after 2 years, now I can prune this dead fern, it die back, so I can just snap them or prune them and throw them away. You are free to do this now in the spring. If you keep doing this cycle, you will have asparagus for years and years to come. And the last part I want to talk about asparagus is the question whether you should grow in raised bed or containers. If you look at the video on my description, I initially grow this in a raised bed. The reason is because I add a lot of soil in that raised bed, and because it's a perennial, it grows years after years. It keep coming back, and it die back in the winter. So during the winter, the months or so, it gets really cold, and being in a raised bed, it has a lot of soil to protect its root system when it's cold. But when you grow in a container like this, and then let me go back a little bit. So I did some changes to my yard, and I moved the whole crown and put in this container until I can find a different raised bed, and so can transplant this again. But the point is, if you do grow it in a container, there's a couple of things you have to remember. One is that during the winter months, you either have to bring it inside your house or in a cover, a patio, so that way the frost doesn't hit and kill your crown. Being in a raised bed, it has a lot of soil where it insulates the crown. But being in a container like this is a 15-gallon container. It doesn't do a good job of insulating the crown. So if you have snow, frost, make sure to cover it up or bring it inside or in a covered patio so it stay away from that cold weather and keep it alive. That's all the tips I have for you. Remember to be patient. Asparagus is a type of a plant that you can grow and they come back years after years, 30-40 years for you to eat, and it keep expanding. So 1 or 2 years of wait is nothing. So please, on the first 2 years, do not harvest. Wait until the 3rd years or so. And with all that information that I've shared with you, asparagus is so easy to grow, and one of the easiest and the lowest maintenance time to grow. So if you follow my channel and you at least try to grow something at home and you don't grow this, I will come after you. Please go grow asparagus. So I will bring the video closer and show you how I trim back all this dead ferns and foliage, and then I'll give you a taste test about how delicious this asparagus tastes when grown at home. So as you see here, all this fern are dead, so I can just trim them out. I tie them because when I transplant this from the raised bed to the pot here, it was quite large, so I had to tie them up. But just going through all the dead asparagus before, branch, ferns, foliage, whatever you call it. Prune them. Now this is the time I will taste this asparagus and tell you what it tastes like. When growing asparagus at home is so much different than when you bought the asparagus from the store. It's so much juicier, delicious, and it tastes very sweet. When buying asparagus from the store, sometimes it's older and it's stringy, but asparagus grown from home is fresh and delicious. So I have a bite of this and give you a review of what it tastes like. Wow. So much water and juice in here. It's so crunchy. Look at how young and easy it is just to snap off the asparagus like this. No string, no fiber. Put it on the grill, eat it fresh like this. It's so sweet and so juicy. So if you follow my tips, you can grow a crown of asparagus and feed your family years after years. For 30-40 years, generation after generation. Please do me a favor and grow this at home. You will not regret it. I can guarantee, I promise you. And if you try my tips and it doesn't work, let me know. I'll help you out. And if you don't, I'll come after you. Please, please grow asparagus. So delicious. Thank you for watching my video today. And please help me out and subscribe to my channel. I will add more videos to this channel to share my knowledge about gardening here in Las Vegas. So hot here because of the climate, but nothing is impossible. I grow asparagus here. I grow many other vegetables and tropical trees as well. Please help me support the channel, and I'll continue my journey to share my knowledge. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. See you next time.